I like it. Got a first 2-goal lead since JT Miller's last full game against Chicago, I believe.
So they're not, the Jacob Cozy's not wrong. The Miller effect is real.
Yeah, it gives you a 1-2 punch. You can't, you get away from matchups. For while he was out, the P line had to go against the best defenseman every time. And with Miller back, it changes that matchup. And I mean, really, it hasn't mattered because it's been the fourth line generating all the freaking offense. So,
Yeah. And that's Max
um,
Aston, I think, his third assist on the team now.
third assist, had a real good chance there, showing his speed, turning on the Jets, making a good case for why he stayed in the lineup over Ratu.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things like and that's the nice thing about what the Canucks have going on with their organization right now is they probably have another entire fourth line that are sitting out right now that they could actually put in. But to have that ability to have guys coming in and out of the lineup is really an advantage to them because then you can get a bunch of NHL experience for these guys and then also give them that opportunity to be actually sitting up top and watching from above, which it can be a really big advantage as well.
Yep, because usually you sit up there with a coach or two, like other coaches that are around, and they can talk about stuff too while it's happening in the game. But yeah, overall, really strong first period against the Stanley Cup champs.
Yeah, so I'll update
First
it.
fourth
Sasson
line.
actually got the assist on the Susie goal and the Heinen goal. So that's his third and fourth assist. So he's got 4 points with the Canucks.
Yeah, no, he's I noted him already for an up with two assists. He had that chance showing his speed. He's having a really good game so far. That fourth line altogether was good. Good there on the first striking first with Susie. We need more of that. More guys getting on the score sheet from the blue line that aren't named Hughes. So it was nice to see Susie jumping up. Forbert jumped up on one there. Miller found him. He almost got a good shot through, but then followed through with a hit too. So they were struggling again to follow up and keep the attack going after getting the lead. But one thing I liked this time, they didn't give it back right away, which has been something we've seen happen quite often this season. So to get the second goal there is very good, solid hockey, and hopefully we can keep it going here when we go into the second.
I'm going to give an up to the Canucks shot total because it's one of the first times I've seen them get 10 shots in a first period. We've seen them get double digits in a couple periods, but it seems like the first period has been a big struggle for them. So for them to have 10 shots is huge. And Florida only had 8. So the Canucks are really showing that defensive prowess that we really haven't talked a whole lot about because when you look at the numbers, Canucks are probably top 3 best defensive teams in the league right now.
Yeah, for goals allowed, it's not like we're getting shellacked every time we get beat. We're losing by 1 goal most games, or 2 if it's an empty netter. So yeah, like defensively with Hronik out, the defenses really stand up and played well. With more communication in that, the downside is they don't generate a lot of offense, and so to see them jumping up in the play a little bit tonight is refreshing and will give us more opportunities on the breakout to attack. It gives you an extra guy when you're rushing in. Sometimes that trailer is good to pick up instead of trying to use the 3 guys flat. They have one guy coming in later, which gives you just an extra weapon in the toolbox.
Yeah. What do you think of Friedman so far? Because I felt like I feel like he's getting a little more comfortable out there after playing a couple now.
Yeah, he looks more comfortable. He's playing on the right side. Threw some nice hits, a real nice body check there along the backboards. It's good physical play, and it's nice. He does look more comfortable, and that's good. You need right shot guys in the lineup. So if he can play that way for 60 minutes, then that's great.
Yeah, getting up in Barkov's grill at one point too, which you love to see, even though Barkov's a big man and Friedman's just like, I don't care if you're one of the best in the league. I'm going to give you all the crap I can while I'm out here.
Yeah. Well, and of course, the refs, if you win the Stanley Cup, you can hold sticks and you can hit guys in the face. Friedman took a high stick there. Hughes got Barkov kind of ripped the stick out of his hands. So obviously the calls are a little more lenient going the other way, but we just need to stay strong and hopefully keep our feet moving, get a power play here and keep this lead growing.
Anything you didn't like? Is there any downs to give out to the Canucks tonight?
Not yet. Obviously, they're keeping things pretty good. Block shots, maybe get a few more of those through, but they did manage to get 10 on net, which is a plus. Only 3 giveaways versus Florida giving away 9. So there's not a ton of downs that I have there. There wasn't any egregious mistakes or errors or anyone really getting out of position. Florida didn't really have any chances that were like scary, dangerous. Rodriguez almost getting away on a breakaway was probably the closest, but that was a good play there to break it up. So he didn't even get a shot off. So really, we just got to keep playing the way we're playing and capitalize on Florida's mistakes and keep playing solid in our end and keep Florida to the outside. You neutralize their speed by keep throwing those hits.
I had a question for you because obviously we chatted a little bit about it on that specific play. Carson Soucy does great, scores the goal, comes on the back check, knocks the guy, and then the net comes off. So the Canucks take possession. So that is a more recent rule, I believe, in the last maybe 5 years or something, where if the net comes off, but the offensive team controls, they're not going to blow the whistle. Does that mean could the Canucks technically just pull the goalie then? Because as soon as Florida touches the puck, it's going to get blown down, right?
In theory, yeah, that is one way to take that a little further. It's something I never thought of, and I'm sure the coaches probably don't think of it. But yeah, on that play, there really was no reason to not, because when Florida touched the puck, it would have been a dead play. You're right.
Yeah, interesting. I'll get Rick talking on the phone and see if he can get that changed for the next time that
Absolutely.
happens.
Yeah, you got that direct line, right?
Yeah, the red phone is actually the red phone's ringing right now. Nah, I'm too busy. I got Dustin. I don't care if the red phone's ringing.
Yeah, talk it can wait.
So big night for Boeser playing his 500th game as a Vancouver Canucks, 500th game in the NHL. He's only the 11th player in Canucks history to play 500 games for the Canucks. And I mean, he puts him amongst some of the greatest, right? Like Trevor Linden, the Sedins. What does that
Yeah.
mean for Boeser playing in his 500th game for the Vancouver Canucks?
I think it's a huge milestone for him because there's been moments the last few years, I mean, via injury or trade rumors and such, that it may not have happened. Considering he's never played 82 games in a full season, to get to 500 is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, he's the 11th draft pick
Yeah.
to play entirely with the Canuck organization 500 games. However, there have been 27 Canuck players to reach the 500 game milestone in a jersey. So
Yeah.
there is a little bit of little bit more players that have played games, but when you go for like all-time Canuck guys, yeah, Besser's the 11th to manage that milestone. Petey won't be far behind here soon, but yeah, he's managed to put up some decent numbers in that time. 186 goals, 216 assists, so 402 points. Not quite a point per game player, but definitely I would probably say he's probably like a 28, 29 goal average guy. He's only really broken the 30 goal mark the one time, that was last season. But obviously, like I said, injuries and things like that, personal stuff, obviously the sickness with his dad and all the stuff that his dad went through, that was tough as well. And it's just nice to see the guy has persevered through some tough moments and has got some serious accomplishments in his career, and I hope we see many more milestones with him in a Canuck jersey.
You have to pick like your Brock Boeser defining moment as a Vancouver Canuck. What is it?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I mean, the defining moment for him was getting 40 goals last year.
Yeah.
Like as for Boeser, to overcome the death of his father and really come into the first season he's come into fully healthy. It was great to see him accomplish what we always thought he could do.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to finally get there was great to see. Definitely well deserving for the work he puts in on and off the ice.
Yeah, I think for me it's probably the playoffs last year when he what was it? He ended up getting the hat trick in that game, right? And they end up winning that one against Nashville. So that's for me that if I had to pick like one game that like defines Brock Boeser's tenure as a Vancouver Canuck, that's like the moment for me that really solidified him as a Canuck legend.
For sure.
It's Miller time.
Yes, sir.
He's back. What'd you think of his play so far?
That's not bad so far. I mean, nothing really crazy either way at either end of the ice. Thought it was a classy touch by Tocchet to give him the opening face-off, and even better touch by the fans to chant his name. I mean, the roof probably sounded like it was going to blow right off of the arena. We all know what Miller brings on his best nights. Let's just hope this drama that has happened or whatever has happened stays in the past, and he can find the form that he had last year when he had a career high 103 points. You know, he's made it clear he doesn't want to talk about it and he just wants to move forward. We'll see if that is plausible in a market like Vancouver. Obviously, he's still going to get bothered about it. It doesn't just go away if you don't have those moments. So you need to be patient and hopefully he can just move forward and we don't have to think about it too much. But it's nice to see him smiling. It's nice to see him out there wanting to be with the guys, and hopefully he can bury a few here in the next game or two.
Yeah, it was funny. I watched the press conference. He essentially started the whole thing by saying, like, listen, I'm not going to tell you what happened. We're not going to talk about it. No matter how many times you ask me about it, I'm not going to tell you. So don't ask me. And if you do, I'm not going to tell you. So, and then the very first question, of course, Jeff Patterson, the little so-and-so that he is, like, how you feeling, JT? Which is about as close to asking about it as he possibly can. So classic Jeff Patterson trying to get something in there.
Yep. Yeah. So it's none of our business. It's his personal, private matter, and as long as he is comfortable moving forward, then we should be comfortable moving forward with him.
Yeah.
We all have issues that we don't want to talk about, that we don't want to be public, and as far as I'm concerned, that's his prerogative to keep it private. And welcome back, JT.
Yeah. So we're going back to Boeser because we're starting to hear a little bit of the contract talk swirling. What kind of numbers are you starting to hear come out as rumors about what Mr. Boeser's looking for coming up on this new contract?
There's a lot of speculation that it's kind of looking like the 8-year max term type thing with like a $8 million per year average. I don't have any issue with the number, like the 8 million per year. I do kind of hesitate on an 8-year commitment to Boeser. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it, and not saying that he's not worth it. It's just a huge risk to take on someone who's already 28 years old. He has only played he's never played 82 games in a season. He's had injuries his whole career. He had a head injury this year. And let's be real, he's not the fastest skater. He never has been. And so, do you want to take the risk of having to pay a 34, 35, 36-year-old Boeser $8 million when he's going to be slowing down, probably playing way down your lineup? Regardless of the cap going up, you need to be able to field an entire hockey team. Look what happens to teams like Toronto and to Edmonton. You can't get deep because you have too much money invested in one line or in 4 guys. We have other contracts coming up. Demko's contract is coming up soon. Hughes is going to be re-upped for who knows how much he's going to cost. So there are things like that that have to be considered. If term is the most important thing to Brock and his agent and his company, then I wouldn't be surprised to see him moved at the deadline, depending on the playoff outlook, because he's not the type of player you can let walk away for free, but he's also not the type of player that you can make the argument, well, he's a 40 goal scorer. goals. Yes, he scored 40 goals once. And Ray Ferraro actually had a really good take on the Donnie and Dolly show about this. There's nothing against Boeser. There's nothing against his skills. Yes, he scored 40 goals once. Ray Ferraro scored 40 goals twice, but he considers himself a 27 goal average scorer, not a 40 goal scorer.
Right.
So, that's where it's like, yes, he had a career year last year. He's not producing the same way he did last year, this year. And if he cannot get back to that elite level, do you commit that type of money to him when you have people like Aramaki, Linus Carlson, Klimovich, all down in Abbotsford, who are finding their offensive touches and are just as much a good shooter as Boeser is? It's tough. It's a tough situation. Of course, I love to see him in a Canucks jersey and stay in a Canucks jersey, but at the end of the day, it's a business, and the business is winning the Stanley Cup, and we have to really be realistic about the term and the money that we commit to him.
So if you're giving Brock Boeser a contract, you're Patrick Allvin, and you got the chef's hat on, what would you say would be like an ideal contract for the Vancouver Canucks to sign him to? Or are we talking like maybe like a bit of a higher hit for a couple, like less years, like a 8.5 for 6 years or something like that?
Maybe you still get to the 8-year average, or 8 per year average, over maybe 4 or 5 years, but you front load it a bit. So the first 2-3 years are worth 10, maybe, and then it decreases as he goes on. But it's just it's a tough one because of the way that we're built, and all the prospects that we do have, and kind of everybody's contract is kind of coming up at the same time. So yeah, it's going to be some interesting juggling. I hope, obviously, Boeser and the Canucks can come to some sort of agreement, but we'll have to keep a close eye on that as we get closer to extension time.
Cool. Didn't get a chance to talk about the Abbott Canucks, but we can save that for the post game show. So
For sure.
Enjoy the second period, brother, and we'll talk to you after.
Sounds good, man.
Nothing is perfect.